Hey y'all, this is Cdiggi Talks, where I bring a friend on to talk about a topic of my choosing, and today's topic is the life of a professional DJ. I brought on my friend Josh so he can tell me about his life as a professional DJ. So, welcome. Hi.
Hey, thank you
uh,
for having me.
you're letting the facial hair grow out.
Yeah,
I know.
it's like
Any,
a
Anywho,
scruff.
I've known Josh for 10 years, I want to say, or maybe longer. We are both from New Orleans, and we met at LSU
We did.
through He Who Shall Not Be Named. But we became real cool when he moved to Atlanta, and we were in Atlanta around the same time. You got
Hmm.
there in 2009, 2010.
2010.
Okay, yeah. I got there in 2008, and he was my roommate for maybe like what, 4 years, 5 years?
Yeah, Jesus, that time flew by.
Yeah, time was rolling. And when we were in Atlanta, I gotta say, like, that was like the peak time to be in Atlanta, I think, because I think it's a different Atlanta right now, in my opinion.
Oh, it's a whole new Atlanta
Because
now.
Atlanta was more blackety black when I was there, at least.
Yeah, it still is. It's a whole new
It's a
place
little bit
now.
more gentrified,
Yeah,
I say.
yeah.
Yeah, I just remember the fun times out. Definitely went to clubs a lot. I mean, we'll get into that. Anywho,
8 days.
first of all, I just want to know, like, what has been your like greatest? Well, let people know what's your greatest accomplishment so far being a DJ. Like
Honestly, I
your
think
best gigs that you've had so far.
yeah. I mean, I think honestly, as a whole, just being able to do this full time because I never would have thought. I had a shitty ass job
Right.
that I hated every day, and I would come home and be like, I just want to leave this place. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And then,
I remember.
yeah, it was a mess. But beyond that, I mean, I think just being able to kind of wake up and do this every day and create your own schedule, and also do something that's fun
Right.
and play music because I mean, you know how much we love music, how we talk about music all day, and
Right.
just pretty much
If
break
y'all
everything
notice,
down. And,
no, I was telling them, like, if y'all notice, like the guests I've had on, like it's been friends that I've like really have a connection with music. Like I had
Mhm.
Jared on, I had Janina
Oh
on.
wow,
They
right?
all they all know each other. I have some great friends,
Yeah.
y'all. Anywho, but what was the moment when you were DJing where it's like, you know what? I made it. I'm doing what I want to do. Like, was there a specific gig you can think of?
I think you know what? It's so weird because I think I felt probably when because it wasn't with a specific artist or anything like that. I think more so when maybe I started DJing like the big box clubs, like the huge clubs with all the lights and the effects and then the crazy sound. And then I'm the only person up there.
Right,
And then everybody's literally just tuned in to me. And that's when I'm
right.
like, okay, well, I guess some shit is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, this feels good. I feel like not the center of attention, but it just feels like you're able to move people and kind of orchestrate what they do in a sense. And I feel like once you're able to do that and then people enjoy it and remember
Mhm.
you for what you're doing, that's when
Right.
I'm like, okay, now I'm doing something. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not at home in the bedroom or, in the living room, just hitting record on a mix and
Right.
burning and giving it to a promoter back then. Cause I mean, shoot, I don't even think that was still the CD era. I think. I mean, we had
Oh yeah.
MP3s, but I mean, nobody was handing out hard drives to promoters like, here, listen to my
Mhm.
my USB. You know what I mean? It was still like, oh, let me give you my mix CD. Let me
Yeah.
give it to you and play it in your car. Whenever you get a chance. So, which I miss so much.
Oh,
Uh,
the good old days.
I know.
What's been the largest crowd you played to?
Ooh, probably Barclays for it was with Sierra for World Pride.
I remember that.
That
Yeah.
was massive. Oh
DJ
my
for
goodness.
Sierra. Wow, I
Mhm.
forgot about
I know.
that.
How could you forget? No,
I know,
no,
right?
no. Look, no, some days I'm like, did it really happen? But yeah, no. I think that was the largest crowd because even walking in, I think they hold. I might be wrong, but I think it's what 52,000 maybe. I think
Oh,
that's how
okay.
much. Yeah, how many seats are there? I might be wrong though, but I mean, it's still dozens of thousands
Right.
of seats to fill. So, when you think about that and then you being on stage with
Mhm.
an artist of that caliber, shoot, I mean, we were fans of her in high school and, right
Yes.
into college. So Um, yeah,
I
that was
remember,
unexpected.
like, when I was at LSU, I saw Sierra at a Baton Rouge club, and it
Hmm.
was just like she was performing on the stage that was maybe less than a foot off the ground with two
Uh-huh.
dancers. That's how long I went back to Sierra. I'm
Like
not
you can
sure if you
literally
were
hand her a drink if you wanted to.
right, exactly.
Like, girl,
There was
you
a
need a drink,
fight
you're thirsty.
shortly afterward. She left though, but there was a fight immediately after she got off the stage. So tell me about your journey.
I'm not
The-
surprised.
oh yeah.
Were you at you said Bella Noche?
It could have been Bella Noche. Oh my God, was it Bella Noche? It might have been.
It might have been.
So explain your journey. Like I'm guessing from, I mean, briefly, but like
Yeah.
from college to to now to
Hmm.
just your journey as a DJ, like your interests.
Hmm. I guess because in college I was, I was heavily involved in like the television station and the radio station on campus.
Right.
So I was doing like I was the traffic director at the station, which is not traffic meaning like programming, basically, like putting the
Mhm.
songs into place and scheduling what comes on, commercial breaks, what music plays during certain blocks and stuff like that. And then after doing that, well, while doing that, I kind of got my own show. It was late night, and it was so interesting because people would really be up late in college in Baton Rouge. Like it's creepy because you're like, who the hell is up at 1, 2 in the morning listening to a college radio station calling in, with these random obscure songs? But people were up, and I was dedicated to it, so I would stay up and stay on campus and edit at Tiger TV, then go to the radio station, and then somehow pass my classes and stay awake. But I think my main objective and my main goal at the time was just to um, gain a lot of knowledge when it came to radio
Mhm.
and TV and the entertainment aspect, because that was my main thing. Love the classes and
And you
everything.
have the radio voice too. If
Oh
y'all
well,
don't
thank
realize
you.
his voice is like 7 octaves down. Like when I first met you, I was like, God damn, his voice is low. I'm just used to it now. Kind of like
Mhm.
how you're used to like the fact that I'm a giant, Like
Right.
everyone else thinks like, oh, you're tall as fuck, but
I don't even think about that now. No, it's
exactly.
interesting because people still say it every day. They're like, your voice is, I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're
Yeah.
like, okay, the same thing you do when people talk about your height. And we're like, yeah, we know. And then, that move to Atlanta, um, of course, I came in and I was at State for a while and I met a lot of people and kind of did some stuff with their concerts committee, which
Mhm.
was cool. We put on stuff with Big Boy, with other artists, Miguel. We did Miguel's concert on camp. These were campus concerts, so they were
Oh,
really
okay.
cool. Than people outside of it. I think I invited you to one time. It might have been the Miguel one. I think you had to work or something. It was
Yeah.
you and our friend Nadia, and I was like, okay, do y'all want to come to this concert? But it was cool because you could invite outsiders, which I don't think is okay for a
Right.
college concert, at this point. But you could invite people to come, so it was a big deal. And then started interning with the Ryan Seacrest Foundation, which was
Oh,
actually a radio station for the kids at Children's Hospital, which was cool. So we would get it was Radio Disney affiliated. So we would get all of the little Disney stars, even the ones that blew up now that came up with Ariana Grande. Like they would come by. I can't think of their names because I wasn't like a
I
Disney
forgot
freak.
all about Radio Disney.
Yeah, Radio Disney was like like the tween bops.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I did that with the patients at the hospital and then the other kids, and then we would get to sit down with some of these child actors and interview them, and then from there, I was interning at V103 with
Yeah.
Ryan and Elle, and that was an adventure too. Woof, that was
Ryan
I love.
Cameron, for those of you that live in Ryan, no, not Ryan
Yeah,
Cameron.
yeah, yeah. Ryan
Ryan Cameron.
Cameron. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, Ryan Cameron and Elle Duncan back when she was on the radio. It was for the afternoon
103.
drive. When I tell you, I learned so much from them. They worked me, but I do not regret it. I appreciate everything I've learned
Hmm.
from them. If I could just give him, I saw him recently, not recently, when everything was kind of like open.
Normal.
Yeah, normal, whatever that is. And I think it was at an event, whatever, in Atlanta. And I spoke to him and I was like, hey, you probably don't remember me at all. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? I was like, but I was your intern because he used to like literally we had competitions and stuff, and I would end up winning the competitions among the interns and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I know this man remembers me. You know, we went through a lot together. And he paused for a second. He's like, you look familiar. And then he was like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So it just felt good that he actually put, I don't know if you remember my name, but, you know, just put a face to what he knew back then. And shoot, Elle's on ESPN now. So
oh, okay.
yeah, she's doing well. And he's at 107.5, another station here in Atlanta. But you know, just to kind of jump back on my journey, you know, from there, I was working a job I hated, you know, doing a sales job, radio sales, which was horrible for me.
I remember.
And, yes, and working for, you know, companies I won't name because I'm not going to disparage any companies or anything like that. But
I do that all the time, but
oh my God.
I admire that.
Yeah, but and I was like, I got to get out of here. You know, I was DJing part-time, doing like after hour spots and things like that, just in one-off gigs and stuff that would have me tired during the day, until one day, I'm not gonna lie, you know, I fell asleep at work. One of my jobs after you know, getting home.
So it's basically like your 9 to 5 and then like after hours, like okay.
Yep. After hours, and then even still being tired from like a Friday after or Saturday after hours, and not being able to sleep on Sunday because I had a gig, and then Monday I'm like Lord, you know what I mean? So I'm just doing my work. You know, I was doing working for this apartment complex, well, voiceover. So we were doing like voiceovers for apartment complexes, like press 1 for maintenance, press 2 for leasing, you know, stuff like that. So I would have to, you know, ship out their players and things like that. When I tell you I fell asleep one day for a good, it had to have been like 30 minutes. And my supervisor walked in and she was just like, are you okay? And I just wanted to tell her, no, I hate this fucking place. But I was like, you know, I'm just a little tired, under the weather. So, you know, they called me into the office. They were like, you know, we're going to have to let you go, long story short. You know, I know. It's crazy because I wasn't even upset when it happened.
Do you know what year this was? It was like
this
what?
was in I think this was 2014. You had already moved to.
Oh, to New York.
You were in New York at this point. You were in New York. So yeah, this was 2014, October 2014. I remember that, October 17th maybe. And I was so relieved to leave, that I, you know, I had that freedom, but at the same time I was like, well, shit, now I'm broke. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have any money saved up like that. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So, you know, I kind of freaked out that week, and I was just like, okay, I'm depressed. I don't want, what am I going to do? I slept for like days, and I called my mom, and she was like, you need to move back home. And I was like, okay, that's the last thing I wanted to hear, but also the first thing I needed to hear, because you just propelled me to do what I know I should have been doing the entire time. So she really, you know, pushed me, and even losing that job pushed me, or catapulted me into my journey as a full-time DJ. Because I'm like, I'm not moving back home. That's going to be counterproductive, completely regressive. Why would I do that? And then also, I want to prove to these people who I was working for every day, doing the same thing for, who were kind of like condescending in a sense when they would talk to me, because they knew I DJ'd, and, you know, they were just kind of like, you know, you're different, or just, oh, you're so cool, I can't keep, meaning like, you know, it just, I needed to go, basically. So with that, I just kind of like started hitting up people. I was like, hey, I'm free, you know, if you need a DJ, let me know. And that's kind of how I got into the W, DJing as a resident DJ for the W.
So a lot of it is like, not to cut you off, but a lot of it is like networking, right?
Yeah, networking, and then I
feel like you excel at that.
yeah, networking, and then just being a nice person to people. I tell people all the time, a nice
person helps, and social.
Yes, and social. Be a good ass person if you can be. You know what I mean? Or
and just to rewind just a little bit back. I remember like we would go out to the clubs, and then you would talk to the DJs or whatever and make that connection with them. Yeah. And then you would start DJing that club that night, you know, like later on, of course, but you eventually like did that. And then I remember when you were in like your room and you'd be like practicing your sets every day. And
every single day, recording sets.
Yes. And, you know, being a roommate to somebody who does that every night, you know, I didn't even mind it because the sets were so good. I was just like, oh, he can play all day if he wants.
Well, thank you. That makes me.
Oh yeah, it never bothered me. I'm not sure about Nadia, but it,
right.
it bothered me.
She never told me it did. So,
Right.
you know, she'd be very vocal if it was
Mm-hmm.
getting on her nerves. So,
Right.
yeah, I appreciate y'all for tolerating me with that loudness every
Yeah.
single day. But what was
Yeah,
I?
to the W. You at the W.
Oh, the W. Yeah, and just kind of building from there, and just like I said, you know, networking with people, and then also networking from a sense, not trying to get something out of people, because I think people confuse networking with, you know, it's always a take situation, but you
Mm-hmm.
know, actually talk to people and you know and figure out who they are and you know what they like and things about them, and really build a rapport with people, because
Right.
you know, you can network all you want, but if you don't have a relationship or you know, foster a relationship with people that's genuine, that shit ain't gonna work. You know, that
Right.
you might get booked for a gig, but then where will you be a year from now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll be the person who tried to use somebody, you know, and just to get to the next step. So
Right.
just foster genuine relationships, you know, which is why I
Yeah,
think,
your contact list is stellar.
oh,
Like you were like the 6 degrees. You were like 6 degrees of separation from like what Beyonce.
oh.
Like I just had to mention Beyonce once in this. But yeah, Beyonce, Kanye. I'm pretty sure you know someone who knows Kim Kardashian. I know you know someone like just the industry expands so much.
I enjoy my friends.
Yeah.
I enjoy my friends, and including you, of course, and just I think I don't know. It's an interesting journey. You know what I mean? Especially now
Mm.
too, because you know I think even with everything that's going on, you know, and people are kind of shifting to, or they have kind of shifted toward digital DJing, you know, on the Twitches and the Instagrams, which they really need to go ahead and lift all of these limitations on these apps, because DJs are literally the people who are getting the music out there. You know what I mean? Which
Right.
is so crazy to me, because I mean, you'll get on Twitch or something like that, you'll DJ a set, then the next day half of your set is gone. You can't hear it; it's
Because
muted
you
or it's
can't think of the
removed.
copyright.
Yeah, because of copyright infringement and things like that, which is, you know, that's a whole nother topic to get into. But you know, that's
Right.
ridiculous, I think. So
Yeah.
y'all need to go ahead and fix that, and let the DJs do their thing and get the music out there, because you know, how else are people going to hear it aside from streaming? You know, people don't know about certain artists unless they go seek those artists out. You know what I mean? So you don't know every single thing that sounds amazing. We might put you onto something that's completely dope that, you know, you wouldn't hear had you just got on your Spotify playlist, or, you know, your Apple playlist or whatever, and, you know, searched on your own. So, yeah, but,
But pretty much it's like right now, like you're freelance, or like do you have like a steady?
yeah, freelance, and then, you know, I work through an agency, work with an agency for some gigs too. So I've been with them. It's been about 5 years now, I think, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's just for certain gigs, and then also pretty much freelance for everything else. I'm not managed, you know. I'm self-managed. Um, you know, if
That has to be
anybody wants
stressful.
to manage me,
Right. That has to be stressful.
yeah, it's a task, but I mean, it also teaches you how to be very proactive and kind of like stay on top of your shit and be on
Mm-hmm.
your grind. Because I mean, if I sleep all day, who's gonna work for me? Nobody, because I'm
Exactly.
sleep all day. You know what I mean? So I really got to get up and you know, seek out opportunities for myself and worthwhile things, and then also make a living,
Mm-hmm.
um, to where you know, I don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, or I'm comfortable, and
Right.
especially in this climate right now, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's very interesting, because I think everything's shifting, and everybody is like, you know,
Yeah.
what can I do now? What gig can I grab now? This or that, blah, blah, blah. You know, so it's crazy out here. But, oh, with that being said, you know, even in today's climate, I still tell people to not settle for less. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I think a lot of people in this industry, in this entertainment field, and I mean, shit, you're in it now too. And, you know, people just try to get what they can so they can, you know, make a buck. But
Right. Like the
you have
short
to,
term.
yeah, basically. But, you know, there's always a means to an end. And I don't think the means to an end should be things that make you uncomfortable all the time. You know, there are going to
Right.
be instances where you're going to be uncomfortable and you have to do things to get to the next step, but don't always put yourself in those situations, because, you know, when you put yourself in those awkward situations or gigs you don't want or opportunities you don't want to do, you're always going to end up getting those opportunities because you keep putting yourself in those shoes. You know what I mean? So you have
Right.
to realize at some point you need to
Get out of
elevate
the comfort
and,
zone.
and say no. Yeah, you have to expand. So, you know, I tell people who want to grow, you really have to have an expansive mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You're like jumping ahead of my questions too.
Oh, my bad.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Like you're doing fine. But I will say that I relate to what you said about just, it's really nice just doing what you like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, especially with me, with like, I'm halfway there to where you at, to where like I can see like, oh, I don't have to wait tables anymore. I could just do this full time.
You're killing
I'm
it, though.
almost there.
You're killing it. And I'm proud of you as well.
Thank you. I
Congratulations.
appreciate it.
I know you've been wanting to do this for a long time. And you know, I mean,
I
I'm just
know,
happy.
right?
Yes. Like
It
forever.
manifested, and I'm not just using that word, y'all. That word has been so overused, manifest. But yes,
Okay.
manifest.
Hashtag Twitter.
Yeah.
But no,
But my next question was, who are like your inspirations?
DJ wise or just musicians and DJs. I love. I mean, DJ Scratch, DJ Rashida. I don't know if you know her, Rashida. She's so dope. Jazzy Jeff. Oh my God, I could listen to some Jazzy Jeff mixes all the time.
Oh, like Fresh Prince Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah. Just from a technical standpoint and just knowing what to do with crowds. Even Atlanta DJs, I love DJ JC, who was on B103, does a lot of old school 80s sets. You know, the 90s throwback, and he, you know, still incorporates a lot of current music too. But I mean, just his skill and the technicality, like the technical aspect of what he does, and it's so precise and it just sounds amazing. You know what I mean? And then he's so knowledgeable when it comes to music and things of that sort. You know, who else do I like in Atlanta? Jelly. Older DJs. Of course, I'm inspired by a lot of my peers as well, you know, so y'all all know who y'all are.
I mean, you can shout them out on here. I don't care.
It's a long list. I mean, you know, my friends, Jordan, of course, Jordan Rock, who DJs, you know, DJ Hourglass, whole work crew.
The one in California, I know, he's popular.
Brian Henry, I'm inspired by him because, you know, I think we're all kind of like along that same path. Kenneth Kyrell, who's actually in Atlanta now. He's in New York. Well, he was in New York for a while, but he's back in Atlanta doing his thing. So many. You know, and it's cool because there's a community that is accepting, and it's a community that supports one another. And I don't think it's kind of hard to find that too, because DJing is very competitive. You know what I mean? So it's very dog eat dog, and it's like, okay, well, who's next up? You know, you only as good as your last set, and it's like, you know, things like that. And then, you know, if they're feeling somebody else, or people are feeling somebody else, they can come right in and take your place. So you know what I mean?
Right, because
it's not like that with us.
When I went to the club or whatever, it would be like 3 DJs like for the night, and you would probably be like the last or maybe the second, and you know, it's really hard. You got to really differentiate your set from other people's, because, you know, some people want to hear certain songs or whatever. But yeah, like, I'm not just saying this, but your set's like definitely amazing.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, while it's on my mind, I remember you told me that DJs hate when people come up to the DJ booth to request a song.
Oh my God.
Like, I just remember that, and I would never do it again. Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind a good request, but it's more so like the request that, you know, like the basic request. Like, okay, can you play the top, what Billboard top 10 hits at 11 p.m. The club just opened at 10:30. You know, okay,
right.
Can you play Positions, right? Or can you play like, just, I can't even think right now, but just something you know is gonna be heard. Like,
City
you know,
Girls. That's only a City Girls.
Right, like, I want to hear City Girls. Can you play jazz? Can you play Migos? Can you play some Cardi? Can you play what? I'm like, okay, now But it's funny because sometimes, like sometimes somebody will come up and make a request, and I'm like, "Nah, you know I'm gonna play that." You know, I'll just say it real quick,
Right.
and I said, "Nah, you know what time it is," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay." But I like requests that challenge me more. So like, ooh, give me a good like '90s or like a good throwback request or something, or like a
Right.
good classic, like an oldie, you know, or something like that. That you know, you're like, oh,
I would be like, can you play Games by Chucky Booker? That's the song where it's like, why don't you wanna playing games on me?
oh
That
yeah,
song. Yeah.
okay, yeah,
That production on there is amazing.
yeah, it is. I was like, who is that? Oh yeah, now that see, that's a good request. Now that's a good
Right.
request. Like that takes some thought. That's not like, okay, I just got out the car and I want to hear this song again.
Right. But I run like a pop culture podcast, so my supporters want to know like who are like the nicest celebrities that you've met,
Mm, nicest. Let's see.
or like just a pleasure to work with.
Okay, now I will tell you, I was at an event and completely random, but someone was like, "It's so hot in here," and I said, "I know it is." I looked to my right; it was Adele standing next to me.
Oh wow, I love Adele. I've met her twice, and she is fun.
I know you've met
She's so
Adele. Yeah, I think she's hilarious, honestly. And she looks great. She looks amazing
yeah,
right now. Oh my goodness.
snatch. She's
Yeah.
very different when I met her. Very different.
Yeah, she looks amazing. Who else? Of course, Sierra's very sweet.
Mhm.
Really enjoyed her. She was like, I remember the first day I met her, and we started rehearsals, and she was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this and this. Do you know this song?" I'm like, "Girl, I know your whole catalog." You know, like even your unreleased tracks. So you know,
Mhm.
she was sweet. So I remember being at an event, and your fave, well, everybody's fave, was behind the bar. It was like this room behind. It was a small venue.
Mhm.
A lot of people were in there, really dark, kind of hazy. I remember like green lights. I think um, "Living for the Love of You" was playing. That it was like
Mhm.
kind of going in that direction, but it was like real cool, like smooth jams and stuff like that. But I looked past the bar, and I was like, and then I saw, then I saw her husband behind her, and I'm like,
You don't gotta be that. I saw her. I saw her husband. You saw Beyonce and Jay.
well, I was waiting for
Right.
you to say it.
They know how I'm
Yeah, so
obsessive, but yeah.
uh-huh. And yeah, and they were just like behind the bar, just kind of chilling. Like it was like a weird kind of setup. But I'm just like, oh wow, and it wasn't even a big thing to me. It was just like she was just chilling, you know what I mean? But
Right.
it just felt, I guess it just sometimes when I'm in certain spaces now, it's just kind of like,
Yeah, you
you know what
gotta
I
be
mean?
just
It's like what,
cool.
yeah, it's like what the hell? But it's like this is literally Beyonce standing right there. You know what I
Right.
mean? And Jay-Z. And it's like, okay, well, what can you do now? Like
Yeah.
I feel like I own the world. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, then they just kind of like walked out and kind of hung out for a minute and then dipped.
Mhm.
But it was just really cool to kind of see her being in or just even celebrities, just kind of like being in spaces where they're just regular people and they just want to enjoy themselves. So, I think when people kind of you
Yeah.
then they kind of like, okay.
Right.
So, chill out. But who else?
I do have a messy question.
Okay.
You don't have to say the person's name, but do you have like maybe like a blind item of someone that you like did not like?
Hmm.
You don't have to say the name, but you can say a rapper or a singer or like that you had a negative experience with.
You know what? I don't. Let me think before I say no.
Yeah.
Oh, you know who I met? Kaylani. She was so sweet.
Oh well, yeah. I was talking about
Yeah.
someone messy. Not. I mean, I'm glad you.
Yeah, I know. I just want to say,
Oh, okay, Kalani. Well,
she was great. Um, you know what? You know what's so funny? I think it might
I
have been
can't.
somebody who.
Personally, I can't stand Ti. There's a lot of people I can't stand in Atlanta, but I definitely can't stand him.
Oh,
Little Scrappy, I think he's an idiot. Those are like off the top of my head Atlanta people. But if you haven't had
very
any, like,
vocal and controversial people.
Right.
I think people have a lot of mixed views on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, like if you got along with every celebrity you met, fine.
yeah. But you know what? I mean, I was gonna say there has been a couple of people, and it was more so like F-list people, you know, or E-list people who would come and just
Oh, okay.
act completely grand and things like that. And I'm just like, okay, you know what I mean?
Like a
Or,
Black China or like a Love and Hip Hop person.
you know what? Yeah, reality TV people. You know what I mean? I think reality TV celebrities, which, you know, not to take anything away, because I mean, you know, to make it that far and actually be a personality on TV, that says something, you
Right.
know, about your drive. So you did something right. But yeah, I think people like that, more so people who don't really even have the capacity or the, but have the nerve
Hmm.
to, you know, act a certain way. It's like, come on now,
But
what are you doing?
right.
Like, okay.
What else?
So, but no, no, for the most part, you know, if I have to report back, we'll have to do another
Trying to do a
talk.
part two. He is not messy like I am, y'all. He's not, and that's good. So last, I'm just wondering, like, what would you advise someone that's just trying to be a DJ themselves, or what like advice would you give
I would advise them to actually make sure it's something they want to do. You know, don't try to do it as a fad type thing. You know, really make sure you're interested in the art, because it is an art. You know, don't get out here with shuffle on, or you know, just trying to wing it as
I
you
know
go.
you do live sets.
Yes, live
I
sets,
respect you
nothing
so
to.
much for that.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah,
not like a pre-play thing where you just press
mm,
play and you go to the bar. Like you are
no,
actually spinning.
no. I actually spend from the time, you know, some people might get in the club and nobody, it's empty for an hour or two, and they might just put on a playlist and run off and go to the bar and drink. No, I'm
Mhm.
DJing from the time I get in there until the time the last person is sweating and passed out and ready to be carried out the
Right.
club, you know, drunk off the ass. So yeah, and just make sure you put your all into it. Get your crates together. By crates, you know, if you've done your research, that's your music. Um, you don't necessarily have to know what type of DJ you want to be. You know, in the early forms of you know, it's trying to establish yourself. So just, I mean, whatever music you love, you know, play that music, get those crates together, and then, you know, you'll kind of curtail your sound around that after you figure out, okay, this is what I like, this is what my mixes sound like, and this is what I want to project to other people. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
don't worry too much about, oh, I want to have this sound, this sound. Play what you like, because
Right.
if people enjoy what you like, they're gonna automatically gravitate toward you. That's what I tell people all the time. Learn the technical aspects, learn how to mix, learn how to transition. You don't have to be a scratch DJ if you don't want to, but if you want to be a scratch DJ, a performance DJ like that, learn how to scratch correctly. Don't get up there and half-ass things, because you're not you know. So just learn the technical aspect, build your library, have confidence, and practice, 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 practice. Don't just practice when you get to your set and you're like, okay, let me go ahead and start DJing. No, you practice more than you spend. You don't you practice. You
Okay.
practice all the time. Practice. And just and be a good fucking person inside as well. Don't be an asshole to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just don't be an asshole. There are too many asshole DJs out here. Too many. So just be a good ass person, please. Or
Mhm.
pretend to be. Thank you.
Wise words. Wise words. Where can they follow you on social media, and where can they listen to some of your sets as well?
Yep. So all of my socials, I believe, are the JashJay is TheJashJay, spelled with an A. Yes, I know it's
Mhm.
strange, but it works.
Yeah.
So and then also my SoundCloud is soundcloud.com/TheJashJay. So yeah, everything is TheJashJay, or you can
Mhm.
just Google JashJay separately and should pop up. You know, should
Okay.
see
And
the mixes
make
and
sure you
things.
send me that. Like text that to me, and I'll put it in the description underneath the video, y'all, for y'all to check it out. But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. It was fun.
Y'all, huh?
So this was fun.
Oh, I'm glad. I mean, I'm
Great.
always nervous when I'm like interviewing my friends, you know?
For no reason, because
Right.
for no reason at all.
But thank you for coming on. Like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. And yeah, I will see y'all for the next episode. I'm sure I have another good friend that I can bring on here. Okay. Bye.
Bye.